Good morning, Better Me Bootcamp. It is day one for us all, and I'm here having my one cup of coffee, right? Because I'm right there in the trenches with you guys, recommitting in my own journey, right? So, I wanted to talk to you guys and set the tone for day one. I was actually text messaging this morning with Rebecca, who's in here. It is her day one as well of recommitting. And she said to me, she's like, I'm so nervous. I'm super nervous. I don't know what I've gotten myself into. And I want to share the message that I shared with her to remind you that it's about taking messy action all the way through messy action, right? It's putting progress over perfection. Don't expect every single day to be perfect, but it's going to be progress in the direction that you want to go. And I want to make sure, I know it sounds so cliche and we hear that thrown around all the time, but really take the time to tell yourself, I am on this lifelong journey. That's what I want for you. I want you to realize it's not just about these 4 weeks, right? But you are setting the tone for a lifestyle that can turn it all around for you. Whatever you came here seeking, you can do that, right? And it's never going to be a straight shot up, right? And it's never going to be perfect. And when you release that idea of perfect, that is where you just get into this place of giving yourself space to grow, giving yourself space to learn more about yourself and what you're capable of. So that's the biggest message I want you to walk away with. Some of you guys may be entering day one feeling a frenzy and a stress just on day one, saying, I'm not prepared like I should have been, or I don't know if I can do this, right? It seems also complicated and overwhelming. Or oh my gosh, I'm in the middle of completing the last week of school with my kids. There's so much. Maybe I picked the wrong start date. None of that. None of that. I was at a retreat this weekend with a lot of my coaches, and we have this language that we use instead of like, or I can do this, or I could do this, or I can't do this because of this. We're going to change to and language. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this. I can end out the school year with my kids and all the stress that brings and crush the first week of my journey and the commitment I made to myself, right? I can complete that big project at work and still crush this journey that I set for myself, right? Whatever it is, and you know what it is, right? Some of you guys may be fired up and like you have personalities. I live to study personalities, and you're probably the blue personality that you have already spreadsheets ready to go. You know exactly where you're going, and you're so pumped up, and I'm excited for you too. But if you're a red personality like me, like what I lead most of my life, you're probably like, oh gosh, I'm just jumping and finding my wings on the way down, and that's okay. And that's okay, right? And I'm here to tell you that you can succeed with this, and you're in the right place. So I want to leave you guys with a couple tips for day one. First is back to that idea of what did I get myself into? Don't look at the entire staircase, right? Look at the step in front of you. It's about each day, crushing each day. And that's where this is going to come really in handy if you're doing fire and flow, right? We got a 4-week journal that came along with the program, and it literally helps you track and journal each and every day. If you're not part of fire and flow, right? If you're doing 4 weeks for everybody, well, I'll tell you this. What's in here is basically tracking each day on, mentally, physically, emotionally, how you're feeling, putting in there like one word a day for your mood, tracking how you fed your body, if you worked out, if you drank enough water, and if you took your supplements, right? And it's also helping you track your measurements and your weight, which we're going to probably do. I would advise obviously doing your measurements day one. That's for sure. Okay. And we posted already in here how to do that. I gave you guys a tutorial on how to do that. I would not track your measurements until the end of our first round, which will be 4 weeks. But I would get on the scale and take your weight. And only once a week, I always say, you don't want to play that mind game. I always say scales are for fishes. We don't need scales. Scales are not a direct indication of our progress at all. Guys, I've done programs where because of the way the programs are built out and the phases of the program, there would be times where the number was up from my day one, up, right? But yet my measurements and even the way my clothes were fitting, and me looking at myself in the mirror, I was like, oh, no way, inches are dropping. And I want to quickly, let's just go over this for a quick second. I'm going to do a second video just to make sure everybody gets this message. But let's just say this, right? This is a pound, right? A pound is a pound is a pound is a pound. But what weighs a pound can look different between fat and muscle that you start to build in your body. This could be muscles way more compact. This could be a pound of muscle, but this could be a pound of fat that we have on our body, right? And so when we're transitioning to burning fat and building muscle, which is what all these programs are designed to do, right? And then 4 Week Gut Protocol takes it a step bigger than that, is also healing our gut. Like all of this is stuff happening within our body, right? And it could cause the scale not to be a direct indication of you doing and going through that process. So take the scale, because I also know gut protocol is going to help us in a big way with nutrition, the way you revamp your nutrition. But I also don't want you to go in there with any kind of like, well, if it's not moving fast enough, equals failing. Absolutely freaking not. Okay. So we're going to do that only once a week, but it's also really important to journal and analyze each day. And why are we doing this? We're doing this so that we could just show up 2 millimeters better than the day before, right? 2 millimeters. Have you ever heard that idea of the airplane? Like if it shifts where it's going by 2 millimeters, it'll end up in a complete different destination. It's the same thing with each and every day that you put in. Show up as you are, show up with the best that you got, and analyze it, track it, do the thing. Then afterwards, the next day, okay, how can I shift 2 millimeters more to get to where I really want to go, right? And start to perfect and up your game. I want to say perfect your game, but up your game, right? Up your commitment and up your conviction towards what you want to end up at the 4 weeks on the last day of this specific challenge. Okay, so journal and analyze. We talked about progress over perfection. We talked about taking one step at a time and not freaking out about the whole staircase, because it will start to unveil itself on its own, right? The second thing is just two more tactical pieces of advice that I want to give you. When it comes to your meals, it is just so important to have a meal plan for the week, right? And I dropped you guys a bunch of examples of meal plans for a week, no matter what bracket you fall on. But also know you can tweak it as the week goes. It doesn't have to be like Bible, you have to follow it. If you realize that one of the foods you don't have in your refrigerator, swap it out. Go back to the food and say, okay, well, I don't have this red A right now, but I've got this red A, and just plug it in. So also don't feel like you're bound to it, but it's important to have that roadmap for the week. After week 1, I can promise you it's going to be like second nature. You're going to pick up the meal plan very quickly. You're going to be able to see foods and identify what container it goes in and know where you could fit it in your day. You'll also probably be able to move around containers as you get, by week 2, you'll be able to move it around and be okay on tracking it. It's all going to make complete sense. It's in the doing that you're going to find that empowerment, okay? So stick it through week 1. Again, progress over perfection. If you slip up a day, if you don't get enough containers in, or if you find yourself, oops, I went over like one container, chill. It's okay. Day 2, we tweak it and make it better. All right. But what's crucial is to actually have those meal plans. So make sure you peek that. Second thing is a big thing for me. I always go to my cell phone and I go under the alarm section. You guys are going to laugh, but like, look at all these alarms that I set for myself. A lot of these alarms are tailored to my meal plan. They're tailored to telling me, okay, don't forget, get your meal in. Like I already have it structured out on timing. Is it always going to be perfect? Again, no, but it's reminding me. I also have it on there for water. I can't tell you how important. I'm a terrible water drinker, but I can't tell you how important the water intake is. And so I give myself, because I'm more of like a chugger at the moment, right? But you don't want to chug a bunch of ounces at one time, or your day's worth, like right before bed. It defeats the purpose of what the water intake is for. But every hour, I give myself 16 ounces minimum, right? And then at meals and workouts, I always obviously go way more water is being taken in on those two, those occasions of my workout. Obviously, I'm always drinking lots of water, and then in my meals. But that reminder, that alarm set, is very, very, very useful. Okay, so as long as you're building the lifestyle and you're building the new, because that's what we're doing, guys. We're knocking out old habits and rewiring our brain for new ones, and that's going to take lots of intentionality in the beginning. But it's crazy when the body picks it up, right? And it becomes a true habit, right? And that's where I want to get you guys. And the last thing, I'm going to leave you guys with this. The last thing is the experience you're going to get in here and the friendships you're going to make, right? And the connection to what you're doing. That's going to be something bigger than you and bigger than just a workout and a gut health program and water intake and a shake and all that, is the way you show up. And in here, we've got so much plans, planned out, from Saturday morning workouts that we're gonna do together live where we can all hop on Zoom, to like in here, there's gonna be lots of interactive posts where you could really spill out and be able to share, right? Share and really take on the journey. The journey is the beautiful part. I promise you. I promise you, it's better than that after photo, because you learn so much about yourself in the dash, right? From the starting point to the ending point. And sure, shit, you're going to be proud of that ending, but you're going to have walked away with experience, perspective, new friendships, right? Community, and just again being part of something bigger than you. But that will only happen if you get in the middle of it all, right? Show up each and every day, participate, take that time. Look at this group and what we're doing in here as for you. This is selfishly your self-care, as it should be, right? As it should be. So as right now, if we sat down and I gave you a piece of paper and a pen and I told you write down all the things that you have, that you're responsible for, that you have to show up for, that you have to do, that you have, I bet you would probably put yourself at the end of that list. But how powerful it would be if you put yourself at that top, how much better you will show up to it all. That's my promise to you. So lean in, show up, do the things, and I'm telling you again, what can come out of here is going to be pure magic. All right, guys, this is day one. Let's rock this. I'm right there with you. We'll talk soon. Bye.